Former One Direction singer Liam Payne, 31, whose chart-topping British boy band generated a global following of swooning fans, was found dead Wednesday after falling from a hotel balcony in Buenos Aires, local officials said. Buenos Aires police said in a statement that Payne fell from the third floor of the Casa Sur hotel in the trendy Palermo neighborhood of Argentina's capital, resulting in extremely serious injuries. Medics confirmed his death on the spot, the statement said. Pablo Policicchio, the communications director for the Buenos Aires Security Ministry, said in a statement to the Associated Press that Payne had jumped from the balcony of his room. Police rushed to the hotel in response to an emergency call just after 5 p.m. local time, he said, warning of an aggressive man who could be under the influence of drugs or alcohol. At 5:07 p.m., arriving police requested an ambulance after finding a man who had apparently just plunged from the third-floor balcony. Medics pulled up a few minutes later. Alberto Crescenti, head of the state emergency medical system, told Argentina's To Do Noticias TV channel that authorities were investigating the circumstances of his death and conducting an autopsy. He declined to answer further questions about the incident until authorities completed their investigation. Payne had been vocal about struggling with alcoholism, posting a video in July 2023 to his YouTube channel where he said he had been sober for 6 months after receiving treatment. Representatives for Payne did not immediately return emails and calls. Dozens of One Direction fans flocked from across Buenos Aires to the Casa Sur hotel after the news broke, forming lines that spilled into the cordoned-off street outside the hotel where police stood sentinel. Forensic investigators were seen exiting the hotel, from where Payne's body was removed around 3 hours after the fall. Young women filming with their cell phones expressed shock and heartbreak as a makeshift memorial with rows of candles and bouquets quickly grew outside the hotel. "I didn't think he was going to die so young," 21-year-old Isabella Milesi told the Associated Press. Payne was one of 5 members of One Direction, which formed when they each auditioned for the British singing competition series The X Factor in 2010, 2 years after Payne's first attempt to get on the show. At 16 the second time around, Payne sang Michael Bublé's version of Cry Me a River, appearing nervous at the start but warming up with the audience's cheers and applause. After each singer failed to make it through the competition as solo acts, Simon Cowell and his fellow judges combined Payne, Zayn Malik, Harry Styles, Niall Horan and Louis Tomlinson into what would become one of the most successful boy bands, even though they lost the competition. Each member had their own persona, with Payne, who hailed from Wolverhampton, a city in the West Midlands region of England, being known as the responsible one. The band became known for their pop sound and romantic hits like What Makes You Beautiful, Night Changes and Story of My Life. Payne had prominent solos on songs including Stole My Heart and Change Your Ticket, co-writing several of the band's hits. They had 6 top 10 hits on the Billboard charts by the time they disbanded in 2016 and a highly loyal fan base, known as Directioners, many of whom were teen girls. "I've always loved One Direction since I was little," said 18-year-old Juana Rell, another fan outside Payne's hotel. "To see that he died and that there will never be another reunion of the boys is unbelievable, it kills me." With his meteoric rise to fame, Payne had said that it took some time to adjust to the public eye. "I don't think you can ever deal with that, it's all a bit crazy for us to see that people get in that sort of state of mind about us and what we do," he said in a 2013 interview with the AP after recounting an experience where a fan was in a state of shock upon meeting him. After the group's dissolution, Payne, like each of his erstwhile bandmates, pursued a solo career, shifting toward EDM and hip-hop. His 2017 single Strip That Down, featuring Quavo, reached the Billboard Top 10 and stayed on the charts for several months. He put out an album LP1 in 2019, and his last release, a single called Teardrops, was released in March. Payne had a 7-year-old son, Bear Gray Payne, with his former girlfriend, the musician Cheryl, who was known as Cheryl Cole when she performed with Girls Aloud. She was an X Factor judge during One Direction's season, although their relationship began years later. Payne was previously engaged to Maya Henry, from August 2020 to early 2022. Henry released a novel earlier this year that she said was based on their relationship. In the vibrant heart of Buenos Aires, the city pulsed with life, its streets alive with the rhythm of music and laughter. It was here, amid the chaos, that Liam Payne found himself. After years of whirlwind tours and the spotlight of fame, he had come to the city seeking a moment of peace, a chance to reconnect with his own identity beyond the fame of One Direction. On that fateful night, the hotel room was filled with soft melodies, the gentle glow of the city lights spilling in through the open balcony doors. Liam had spent the evening reminiscing with a few close friends, sharing stories from the road and dreams for the future. They laughed, their voices mingling with the sounds of the bustling streets below. But as the night wore on, the laughter faded into quiet reflection. Liam stepped out onto the balcony, drawn by the cool breeze and the view of the city sprawled before him, a tapestry of lights twinkling like stars. It was a moment of solitude he cherished, a brief respite from the weight of expectation. In that moment, however, the world shifted. A misstep, a moment of distraction, and the unthinkable happened. The city that had felt like a refuge became a backdrop for tragedy. The news spread like wildfire, shattering the hearts of fans and friends alike. Liam's legacy would forever be intertwined with the joy he brought to millions through his music, but that night left an indelible mark. Vigils sprang up across the globe, fans gathering to honor the man whose voice had been a soundtrack to their lives. Flowers, candles, and heartfelt messages adorned countless locations, each tribute echoing the sentiment, he was loved. In the aftermath, his friends and former bandmates reflected on the moments they shared, the laughter, the struggles, the brotherhood that had formed through years of touring. They vowed to carry his memory forward, to remind the world of the light he brought into their lives. As the sun rose over Buenos Aires, casting a warm glow over the city, the world felt a little dimmer. But in that shared grief, the spirit of Liam lived on, through the music he created, the love he inspired, and the memories that would forever echo in the hearts of those he touched. As the days passed in the aftermath of Liam's tragic fall, the city of Buenos Aires transformed. What was once a bustling hub of nightlife became a canvas for mourning and reflection. Fans gathered at the hotel, laying flowers and writing messages on the pavement, their words a mix of love and sorrow. Each note told a story, how his music had been a beacon during difficult times, how his voice had been a source of comfort, and how his spirit had ignited dreams. Among the throngs of fans was Clara, a young woman who had followed One Direction since their beginnings. For her, Liam had been more than just a pop star, he was a source of inspiration. As she stood there, clutching a faded poster, memories flooded her mind, the countless nights spent singing along to his songs, the comfort they provided during her own struggles. She felt compelled to do something to honor him, to make sure that his light would never fade completely. Clara decided to organize a tribute concert. She reached out to local musicians, friends she had made in the fan community, and even some of Liam's former collaborators. It was a daunting task, but her passion ignited a fire in others. Slowly, the pieces began to come together, a venue, a lineup of performers, and a date set for a few weeks later. As the concert approached, Clara poured her heart into every detail. She wanted it to be a celebration of Liam's life and music, a night where fans could gather not only to grieve but to remember the joy he had brought them. She envisioned a night filled with performances of his most beloved songs, interspersed with stories shared by those who had known him. The night of the concert arrived, and the venue buzzed with anticipation. Fans filled the seats, each person holding a candle, ready to light them in tribute. As the first chords echoed through the hall, Clara felt an overwhelming wave of emotion wash over her. The music played, and voices rose in unison, creating a beautiful tapestry of sound. Stories were shared, laughter mingled with tears, and a sense of community enveloped everyone present. As the concert reached its climax, Clara stepped onto the stage. With a deep breath, she shared her own story of how Liam's music had been a lifeline for her, how his words had helped her navigate through the darkest times. She felt a surge of energy from the crowd, their shared love for Liam binding them together.